Bianca Ojukwu in tears as she was disgraced the moment she begged Simon Ekpa after betraying him. Bianca Ojukwu traveled all the way to Finland to see Simon Ekpa, but she was disgraced by Biafrans in Finland. Biafrans has finally gotten the truth about Simon Ekpa arrest in Finland, and all finger points at Bianca Ojukwu, the widow-wife of late Biafran warlord General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. Her name has remained in the mouth of Biafrans as the plotter of Simon Ekpa arrest, so as to stop Biafra independent declaration. Bianca Ojukwu, widow of late Odumegwu Ojukwu, is accused of betraying the Biafran cause. Critics claim she played a role in the arrest of Simon Ekpa, a prominent Biafra agitator in Finland. Bianca Ojukwu's appointment as a minister in Bola Tinubu's government is seen by some Biafran supporters as a move to undermine their movement. This appointment is alleged to have led to the arrest of Simon Ekpa within 2 weeks. Simon Ekpa is a vocal supporter of Biafra, defending its people against alleged Nigerian military oppression. His actions have led to multiple petitions against him by the Nigerian government to Finnish authorities. Despite Nigerian government efforts to label Simon Ekpa as a terrorist, Finnish authorities have found no substantial evidence against him and continue their investigation. Allegations are made against the Nigerian government for using divide-and-rule strategies to weaken Biafran unity, including exploiting internal divisions and employing figures like Bianca Ojukwu to disrupt the movement. Many Biafrans view Nigerian political leaders as complicit in the marginalization and oppression of their people, prompting calls for sovereignty. Biafrans' determination to achieve independence also highlights their frustration with ongoing disunity and betrayal within their ranks. Biafra was redeclared on December 29, 2024, though this action faces criticism and controversy within the movement. Biafran supporters demand global acknowledgement of the genocide committed against them during the Nigerian Civil War and advocate for justice. There are calls for Biafrans to rise above internal conflicts, resist external manipulation, and focus on their collective goal of independence. You know, it's funny how things turn out sometimes. Just a few weeks ago, many of us were talking about the rumors swirling around Bianca Ojukwu, the widow of the late General Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, and her alleged involvement in the arrest of Simon Ekpa, a prominent figure in the Biafran independence movement. It was all just speculation at first, with people on the internet debating and throwing around accusations. At that time, I really thought it was just one of those wild conspiracy theories that you hear about, the kind that always seem too outlandish to be true. But as time went on, events started unfolding in a way that made it seem like those rumors weren't so far-fetched after all. For those who don't know, Simon Ekpa is a strong voice for Biafra, an area in southeastern Nigeria. He's been very vocal about seeking independence for the region, and he's been critical of the Nigerian government's treatment of the people from that part of the country. His views have gained him both supporters and enemies, the latter mainly coming from the Nigerian government and anyone who sees his movement as a threat to Nigeria's unity. Now, what really started making people suspicious about Bianca Ojukwu's involvement was the timing. Simon Ekpa had been on the radar of the Nigerian government for a long time. Now that move caught everyone's attention. You see, the late General Ojukwu had been the leader of the Biafran secession during the Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, which happened in the late 1960s. His efforts to form an independent Biafran state had ended in failure, and he passed away in 2011. Bianca, his wife, was seen as a figure of great respect by the Biafran people, and for many, her position in the government was seen as a kind of betrayal. After all, here was the widow of the man who had fought for Biafran independence, and now she was sitting in the government of the very country that had opposed that independence. When Bianca was appointed as a minister, A lot of people thought that she would take a stand for Biafran independence, that she would somehow push for the cause that her late husband had given his life to. But the reality was very different. Instead of becoming a champion for the Biafran cause, she seemed to have accepted her position in the Nigerian government, which caused a stir among Biafran supporters. Many were heartbroken, wondering how she could work within a government that was seen as oppressive to the people of Biafra. Soon after Bianca's appointment, Simon Ekpa was arrested in Finland, a country that had long been a safe haven for him. He had been a thorn in the side of the Nigerian government for years, constantly pushing for the recognition of Biafran independence and speaking out against the oppression faced by his people. His arrest came just 2 weeks after Bianca's appointment, and it was this timing that led many to believe that she was somehow involved in his downfall. People started to say that Bianca had played a key role in his arrest, perhaps even masterminding it, to put an end to the Biafran independence movement once and for all. At first, these were just rumors. There were many who dismissed the idea as nonsense, saying that Bianca had no involvement in the arrest of Simon Ekpa. But as the weeks passed, the whispers grew louder, and more people began to believe that there might be some truth to the accusations. What really sealed it for a lot of people was when Bianca herself traveled to Finland to speak with Simon Ekpa directly. Many expected her to stand firm in her position as a representative of the Biafran people, but what they saw was something entirely different. When Bianca arrived in Finland, she was met with anger and distrust by the Biafran community there. They saw her as a traitor, someone who had abandoned their cause for personal gain. It was a scene that none of us could have predicted. Bianca, the widow of the man who had fought so hard for Biafran independence, was now pleading with Simon Ekpa, asking for forgiveness. In the video footage that was shared online, you could see the distress on her face as she tried to explain herself. She was clearly in tears, begging the Biafran people to understand that she had been misunderstood, that her actions weren't as they appeared. But the crowd wasn't having any of it. They were furious. The Biafran community in Finland had been waiting for this moment, and when it came, they didn't hold back. They accused Bianca of betraying the very cause that her husband had fought and died for. They called her out for accepting a ministerial position in a government that had long been seen as an enemy to the Biafran people. For them, it wasn't just about politics. It was about the memory of General Ojukwu, and how his widow had chosen to honor that memory by aligning herself with those who had fought against the Biafran cause. As Bianca stood there, surrounded by a sea of angry Biafran supporters, you could feel the weight of history bearing down on her. The ghost of her late husband seemed to hang over the scene, as if his legacy was now being questioned in the harshest of ways. The tears streaming down Bianca's face spoke volumes, but it was clear that the Biafran people had already made up their minds. They saw her as a traitor, and no amount of pleading or apologies would change that. The arrest of Simon Ekpa was seen as a major blow to the Biafran independence movement, but the events surrounding it also revealed deep divisions within the Biafran community itself. While some people were quick to point fingers at Bianca, others believed that her actions were a result of pressure from the Nigerian government and that she was simply trying to protect herself and her family in the face of overwhelming political forces. Still, the damage had been done. Bianca had become the face of betrayal for many Biafran supporters, and her reputation among them was irreparably tarnished. The entire situation raised some uncomfortable questions about the future of the Biafran cause. Could Biafran independence still be achieved in the face of such internal divisions? Was there any hope for unity when figures like Bianca, who were once seen as symbols of Biafran pride, were now being cast aside as enemies of the movement? The truth was, no one seemed to have the answers, and it felt like the Biafran dream was slipping further and further away with each passing day. Yet, even in the face of such betrayal and division, there remained a core group of Biafran supporters who were determined to continue the fight. They believed that the struggle for Biafran independence was bigger than any one individual, and that the cause would live on no matter what happened to people like Bianca Ojukwu. For them, the spirit of General Ojukwu and the sacrifices of all those who had fought in the Biafran War were far too important to be forgotten. They were not willing to let the political maneuverings of the Nigerian government and its allies tear apart the vision of a free and independent Biafra. In the aftermath of Simon Ekpa's arrest and Bianca Ojukwu's disgrace, the Biafran people were left to pick up the pieces of their fractured movement. Some called for unity, urging all Biafrans to rise above the divisions that had emerged and focus on the larger goal of independence. Others were more cynical, believing that the whole movement had been infiltrated and corrupted by outside forces, including the Nigerian government, which had long used divide-and-rule tactics to weaken the Biafran cause. The struggle for Biafran independence is far from over, but the events of the past few weeks have shown just how complicated and volatile that struggle can be. What started as a movement for self-determination has become a battleground for power, loyalty, and the fight for political survival. As the Biafran people continue to grapple with their internal conflicts, one thing is clear. The road to independence will be long, and it will be marked by betrayal, hardship, and struggle. But for those who still believe in the cause, the fight is worth it. They know that the dream of a free Biafra will not die easily, and they will continue to fight for it no matter the cost.
We are not going to retreat, not one iota, not 1 inch, because Biafra must come. Because the hatred have continued to this very day. As I'm speaking and addressing all of you right now, they are still arresting, extrajudicially murdering people in our land, people who are alien to our culture, our way of life, our tradition. They are in our land directing their people to slaughter, to kill without mercy. Unfortunately, those we regard as political leaders have connived with these people to ensure the decimation of their own population. That is the type of nonsense we can no longer condone. As you all know, there is no significant Fulani presence in our land because our fathers taught us how to fight. And we are doing so today without apologies to any idiot. We're not going to apologize because we have been apologizing for nearly 50 years. And we have not gotten anywhere in terms of our collective advancement and development in the damnable zoological republic called Nigeria. That is why we must continue what we're doing, and that is why anybody who is remotely interested in the affairs of our people must understand this, that we are determined, doubly determined. 50 years, or should I say 54 years, is a very long time, and 51 years since the end of the war. But now that we have come, or should I say now that God Almighty in heaven has determined that we should come, we are not going to relent. We are not going to do anything whatsoever to jeopardize the sanctity and the holiness of this very mission. We love our people. We love every ethnic nationality that makes up Nigeria as it is presently constituted. We have no hatred towards anybody. We love peace. We love life. We love the progress of other people. But we are in a country where people hate us for no reason, where people despise us for no reason, and we can no longer go on apologizing. And Nigeria as a state, the entire Africa as a continent must acknowledge. The same way they acknowledge the genocide in Rwanda, they must rise up to acknowledge the genocide in Biafra, or else there will be no peace nor development in the whole of Africa. And I'm not saying it apologetically. I am stating a fact that ought to be forcefully demanded for. And Biafra itself must be restored for those who have come before us, for their sacrifice, for their courage, for their gallantry and their bravery. It is a very good thing today that one of the co-hosts here is our brother Dele, a man that I cherish and I appreciate very much, and also the very excellent work that Mazi is doing. But let us make this thing very, very clear. We were wronged by the Nigerian state, by every ethnic group in Nigeria. I know that my good friend and brother Obadiah Mailafia rang me and apologized a while ago for the role that they played in the massacre of Biafran people, the role that they played in aiding and abating a very unlawful invasion of Biafra land, because all Ojukwu asked for was restructuring. The same thing we're arguing for today. Ojukwu went to Aburi to argue for restructuring. Ojukwu did not go to Aburi to declare any state of Biafra. He never went to Aburi to declare any war. Ojukwu went to Aburi so that all of us in Nigeria, including those from the Middle Belt, from the West, everywhere can have freedom. This is something we're asking for today. They twisted the narratives, they changed our history, they turned it upside down, they made us the villain. They tried to demonize our general, a man of peace that went to Aburi in Accra to go and in Ghana to go and negotiate for peace. A peace that Britain prevailed upon go on, not to implement. But over the years we've been taught that we are the aggressors. Such nonsense can no longer hold, it can no longer obtain, and that is why, as I said earlier, unapologetically we are pursuing the freedom of Biafra, and nobody can stop us. Anybody on our path is going to fall, is going to die. Instead of Biafra not to come, every living organism in Nigeria will die, I swear to God Almighty in heaven, because we are not going back. It is a good thing today that some notable Nigerians are on this very platform discussing what transpired 54 years ago. Most have tweeted to say, may it not happen again. The only way to ensure that this will not happen again is the existence of a free, sovereign Biafran nation. That is the only panacea, nothing more, nothing less. Before we came here, Ladipo Market was on fire. These vandals and vagabonds are in our land killing people relentlessly. As I'm talking to you right now, they headed some people from Enugu to God knows where, maybe to go and kill them. And you have governors, you have political leaders, you have those who aspire to high office. They are all there. Nobody's talking, nobody's speaking, because they have a lot to benefit and to gain by us being Fulani slaves. Something that can no longer continue. Something we are not prepared to tolerate. That was something I said rather very fortuitously many years ago. I said during one of my broadcasts on Radio Biafra that for Nigerians to understand that God is upset with them, that every tribe in Nigeria, every ethnic group in Nigeria will experience what we passed through during the Biafran War, that they too will also become refugees. And today, there are IDP camps everywhere. People that thought they were safe before now are fleeing their homes. There's something that happened to us between 67 and 1970, and that is why our appreciation and our thanks for those men and women that fought to keep us safe can never ever be overestimated. We will continue to appreciate them. We shall continue to honor them. And I thank all of, those who are non-Biafrans. I understand that some people who are Biafrans came on this very platform and trying to play the script of their masters. That same divide and rule by saying there is something called Southeast and South-South. All bunkum. I have said it many times on many forums, on many platforms, that everybody in the East, we are all one people. I don't understand why people are hung up about this divide and rule of Gowon. It was Gowon that created Cross River State. Gowon created River State. Not because he loves the people of the South, not at all, but because he wanted to divide us. And we must rise up. We must rise up to the game of these people and say no to them. Now that Yoruba and Igbo are one, do you see them trying to play that game anymore? Now that Biafra and Oduduwa are one and inseparable, bonded together in one, do you see them playing their stupid games? I don't know why some people will come and say that from Nigeria, that from South, in order to perpetuate that very division which the Fulanis have cleverly exploited over very many decades and many years. I don't know when we are going to learn, and the sooner we learn, the better for us. I thank all of you once again, and this very effort to recognize the genocide against Biafrans continues until the United Nations and the whole world rise up to this very challenge and acknowledge that a great deal of injustice was done to Biafrans. Tomorrow is our sit at home, complete and utter lockdown everywhere. And as I said earlier, I do commend the governors for coming out and saying that civil servants should not come or should not turn up to work tomorrow. This is a very good thing. We must all be bound together in order to ensure that Nigeria, first of all, takes the blame for what they did, and secondly, that the whole world will rise up to the obligation to the oppressed people and do the very right thing.
Mazi Simon Ekpa. The Nigerian government has actually been, reporting Mazi Simon Ekpa to the Finnish authority every single day, because, Mazi Simon Ekpa was defending his people from these Nigerian military attacks that is ongoing, even as today that I'm speaking in Biafran land. Mazi Simon Ekpa kept blocking them, kept defending his people, and these people were not able to penetrate the villages where they penetrate and buy people. They kept writing, and the Finnish authority just knows that Nigeria is a very corrupt country. So they paid deaf ear. They didn't want to do anything because they know Nigeria government is the worst thing that can ever happen to any country if you get involved with them. So what happened was, now when Tinubu, he was doing some traveling. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. This man was doing some traveling, and they advised him on what to do. He was advised to use a woman from our region. Now, I'm not going to mention the country name that said this to this man. So Tinubu now went and brought Bianca Ojukwu. If you check Tinubu's cabinet today, there is no Igbo man anywhere that is occupying any reasonable position in Tinubu's administration, even up to today, undermining the federal character that is enshrined in their own constitution. So what now happened was that they used Bianca to start writing to the Finnish authority. So, and in the Western world, the first people they respect that have more ground than anybody in that country is women. So they respect women a lot. In fact, in the Western world, after woman, it is children. After children, their pets, maybe their dog or their cat. After this one, before you now see women. So when men were talking in Nigeria, they didn't listen to them because they know that they are very corrupt individuals. They are very highly corrupt. So they know Nigeria was a very corrupt country. So they didn't pay attention to them. They didn't even listen to them. So now what now happened was that they now used Bianca Ojukwu to write a petition that Ekpa, their Finnish citizen from Nigeria, is destroying the southeast because she comes from that same region. Can you see the technicality that they use? So now when these people now saw it, and Bianca Ojukwu went to the Finnish embassy and submitted that petition. Then somebody brought that petition to their parliament, and they read it and said, okay, Simon Ekpa, come, let's investigate this matter. And as the investigation was ongoing, Nigerian government, they didn't inform them, they don't know what is even going on. Nigerian government is even, adamant of what is going on. Or should I use the word oblivious of what is going on? They don't know what is going on. Now they are investigating, and they now call the same Nigerian government and say, look, you said this man is a terrorist. What evidences have you got? The other day, Musa was granted interview, and he was lying to the person that, we have submitted. They have not submitted. The documentation that they submitted was via Ojukwu's wife. They do not have any reasonable evidence to bring to the Finnish authority. When these things happened, they were jubilating, and even because, let me tell you why they are very confused. If you watch on the 15th, where Sarahara reported that Simon Ekpa has been taken to one of the most secure prison in Finland. There is nothing like one of the most secure prison in Finland. There's nothing like that. What they have is correctional centers. They don't have anything like we live in the Western world. So they should stop fooling you people, Nigerians. They are trying, like I said in my last video, they are trying to divide you. They are trying trying to do, because this is what they've been doing, divide and rule. So they are trying to divide us in our mind so that we will say, oh, Ekpa was even a terrorist. So those things are not even. Now the Finnish authority has now been calling them the Nigeria. Come and tell us how this man was inciting violence in Nigeria, how he was terrorizing Nigeria, what financial these people, nobody is showing up again. They ran away. They are now avoiding the whole cause. Can you see what the Nigerians are suffering? And these are the same people who kidnapped Mazen Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, brought extraordinary rendition him back to Nigeria, and hoping to try that same Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in Nigeria. And the man refused and said, no, you can't do that because I know the law. And now look at, they now labeled him a terrorist. Even the northern leaders, most of the northern leaders, we are now the Fulani leaders, not the northern. And the northerners are very wonderful and very loving and peaceful people. Fulani leaders came together and said that the UN should prescribe Mazen Nnamdi Kanu a terrorist, which means they're not even planning to release him. The UN should prescribe IPOB, which is you and I, the indigenous people of Biafra, as a terrorist organization, which means the whole Igbo race now, they want to prescribe them as a terrorist organization, and these people refuse. Now they said Bianca Ojukwu that wrote petition against Mazi Simon Ekpa is not in Finland to defend all the petition. The same Christopher Musa that is telling you that it was not Christopher Musa that even submitted the petition. So Bianca Ojukwu now went back and told them that this Ekpa that you people are safeguarding has been petitioned by the Nigerian government in 2021 and nothing was done about it. Of being a terrorist in Nigeria, nothing was done about it. I'm giving you people the real gist. Now these people swung into action and said enough is enough. Let's even investigate this young man. And up to today that I'm talking to you, Ekpa has not been found guilty of any crime. Up to today. And that is why the Finnish authorities said they are going to speed the trial, because the trial is not even making any sense to them as well, because nobody is coming forth. Now, if after this whole thing and Ekpa comes out, because I know it's going to come out very soon, Ekpa comes out, how will these people that betrayed him, that betrayed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu feel, betrayed Ekpa feel, betrayed and trying to stop what is it called, Madam Ngozi Arabueze, how would you people feel? All this your fight, why don't you wait for Ekpa to come out? Now, their main agenda was not even to arrest Ekpa, was so that the Finland Convention will not hold. That was their primary objective, because now it is now very open that Biafra has been redeclared. Biafra has been declared before, but now Ngozi Arabueze redeclared it on the 29th of December because she didn't know what was going to happen and who was on her side and who was trying to set things up, which I practically understand. So nobody should blame her. She's a woman. She can panic at any time. And for those of, in fact, if you listen to Tupac songs a lot, you find out where Tupac said, trust no one. All the people I trusted that I gave love, when it came to fear, they all bounced. They all turned their back against him. But he's a survivor. He's going to survive. And he survived until he was shot to death. The same people that said, oh, they are my guys, they pied him. Now, this almost global hatred for Igbos, I wonder where it's going to lead Nigeria. But we told Nigeria that the kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I keep saying it, I don't know if Tinubu can do anything. He can go to hell if he likes. This kidnap of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu will be the one that will end Nigeria totally. Now, I want Bianca Ojukwu, Madam Bianca Ojukwu, government, the Nigerian terrorist army are in Biafran land. They are killing our people, making our land, not a livable place. They are making our land to be a place that people can no longer stay. So please, Bianca Ojukwu, I need you to write to, the way you wrote to Finland, I need you to write to General Christopher Musa. Maybe he doesn't understand what his soldiers are doing there. Let him remove all his soldiers from our land. It is not a sovereign nation. Musa respects sovereignty. So let him remove all his army from our land, because I'm a Please, Madam Bianca Ojukwu, if you can write to Finnish Finland, please, as well write to General Christopher Musa, as well write to Tinubu to remove his soldiers. They are killing our people. Our people are really dying. There are a lot of videos I have that I can't put on my platform. If I put it, they will block me. But I know that all this nonsense that is happening will come to an end one day. We move. We can never be divided. Biafrans has come to stay. And when you watch the Biafrans of today, you will know that they are not the Biafrans of yesterday. Everybody is ready, including me, to die for this cause, no matter what. We are not living as humans. Do you understand what I mean? So, Madam Bianca, please, we are not asking you, we are not begging you, we are telling you to do that. Please tell him that our land is under siege. They should remove all their army, their police from our land. You are the foreign minister of Tinubu, so please deliver our message to him. Thank you, ma. We are begging you. And our chief of staff, may God bless you and continue to strengthen you. Mazi Simon Ekpa will join us very soon because Nigeria has no case. Mazi Simon Ekpa has no case to answer, and Nigeria has a case to answer in ICC. I keep telling you, all the social media nonsense that they are writing is just rubbish. It's just to divide your mind. It's just to divide our mind. But united we stand. We can never be divided. We can never be destroyed. Nothing can penetrate us, Biafrans, these days. And why I'm saying this is so that the people that are asking questions, nonsense question, where is Ekpa? Ekpa is fine. Ekpa is doing well. Ekpa is not in any detention in Finland. I keep saying that. Whether you like it, you believe it. Whether you don't like, you don't believe it. That is your own cup of tea. We don't care who you are and what you believe. What you believe here is that Ekpa is fine and is in safe hands.
This is the end of our news update. Please click the icon on the top right corner of your screen to watch my next video. You will enjoy it. I will see you again in my next update. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye for now.